That means another weekly roundup. As always, quite a lot of interesting things happened this week. And as always, I'm going to start with the new GW releases. Got a few interesting things coming out this week. Obviously, you can now get hold of the Lord Discordant, who's basically a GW tech priest on steroids, riding a giant mechanospider. There's a lot of people saying the rules on him are broken as fuck, but to be honest, they say that all the time. All I know is he looks amazing, and I look forward to shooting at him with a lot of plasma. I'm not sure how he's going to play on the battlefield. GW have always had a bit of a trouble with their tech marines they've always struggled to keep them balanced whilst actually keeping them tech marines rather than just being mad mechanical scientists. The question has always been, how easy should it be to return wounds to a vehicle? If it's not easy enough, then the guy's kind of pointless. If it's too easy, then what does the guy do? This guy, on the other hand, rather than being that from what they're saying and what I've read about him online, is far more the mad scientist type. He's a lunatic with a lot of guns, and I think the Chaos Guys are going to love him. I think the Chaos Guys are getting a lot of really good stuff recently. Also noting Warhammer, among others, which I'll talk about later, are getting a rebranding. This is their new symbol. I think they're trying to combine the classic hammer symbol with the winged aquila symbol. Looks kind of good. It does feel like they've gone from a Thor-esque hammer to a new Thor-esque hammer. But, yep, it looks good. It's still very recognisable as Warhammer. It's got Warhammer written under there. I don't think we're gonna have any confusion. I'm not sure why they felt the old hammer was no longer good, but yeah, fair play to them. It's nice. It's cool. What else have we got? We got Forge World releases at the moment. We've got some White Scars. We've got a Contemptor Dreadnought and a Terminator. We all know White Scars are renowned for being fast and mounted. So of course they've released two really slow moving models, but they still look fairly awesome. I've got to admit, the Terminator with the Eagle looks pretty cool. And of course, there is plenty of fast attack stuff already available from Forge World. You can get the White Scars Brotherhood there, which will give you all the fast attack you need, and that's going to be really, really cool. I don't play White Scars myself, so it won't be something that I'm getting. But I think any White Scars players out there, it's something else to bring into your army, whether you play 40k or 30k. It's some really cool stuff. You got your cataphracted Terminators, you got your old style Dreadnoughts, and that's gonna look really cool. It's gonna be a nice centerpiece for any army, or if you're the kind of person who spends a shite ton of money, it's gonna be a nice lot of models. Random other cool thing, GW are getting together with the Scouts. That's really interesting to me. My kids don't go to the Scouts or Girl Guides or Brownies or any of that. But if, like me, you're a dad out there, you've got a kid, you're looking at getting them involved, it gives you an additional entry point. If they like the Scouts, if they're interested in Scouts, can then bring them into GW. GW can then go into Scouts. It does also add, it's another sort of thing they can do there, as well as learning to go dib, 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 and I have no idea what they do in the Scouts anymore. When I was young, it was learning to sew and trying to figure out why the arcade was a chain smoker. That one smoked a lot. But there's a lot of AOS stuff and 40k stuff going out to the Scouts there. So if your kids are interested in going to the Scouts, or if you have a more sedentary kid that likes the game and you want to get into more outdoorsy stuff, that's really quite exciting. I mean, it's another entry point in the community for GW. There's often after school clubs, there's often other things, but this is them sort of getting into contact with the younger generation, which is really good, to be honest. The only way we're going to keep playing is if we get kids in. I know I've said this before, and I know it can be very frustrating when you're dealing with a young, childish, or just a kid or a childish teenager when you're trying to play your serious game. But most of us got into it when we were kids, and the only way we're going to have people to play in 5 to 10 years' time is if we tolerate and encourage these kids, to get into the gaming as well. It's how you got to remember, there is no reason for our hobby to exist, none whatsoever. It doesn't really train you for anything. It's not essential for anything. Certainly, you can't eat this plastic stuff. It doesn't help you survive in any way. The only way that it's going to survive is if it remains relevant, it remains fun, we enjoy it, and we make sure that other people enjoy it too. Otherwise, in 5 to 10 years' time, there might be no hobby. So, I mean, that's a really, the fact that GW are reaching out to the community is really good, and the fact that they're in the community is hopefully going to help them see what the young kids want, see what the coming generations want, and stay relevant. Fingers crossed they don't forget us as well, because we spend a lot of money there. But yeah, hope springs eternal. What else we got? Moving on to more RPG stuff. You may remember a few weeks ago, actually probably a month ago now, we looked at a company called Battle Mats. And they brought out a battle book, basically, of role-playing mats that basically you could just open the book anywhere, flip to pages. It was a quick, easy to transport way of taking a lot of maps around for role-playing. Well, they brought out some sci-fi books, which are not only useful for role-playing, but they do it in various sizes, including pretty much A5 sizes. Where are we? Sorry, A3 size, not A5. You get A4 size pages, so you've got 2 A4, or A3 size pages, so you've got 2 A3 mats, which is easily enough to have any number of sci-fi games on, whether you bring in Blackstone Fortress into it, whether you bring in Kill Team into it. It gives you a quick and easily accessible battle map that you can just play the game on. It's something you can have put on your shelf, and you want to play the game, instead of having to set up a board, just slam it down, open it up, maybe chuck a bit of scenery on it, and away you go. So that's really good, and I think relevant not only to the sci-fi community, but also to those of us who play miniatures games that use maps and mats like that. So that's pretty good. The detail on them is frankly fantastic. Again, I'm just going to use that picture there. If you go check out their website, which is just battlemats.co.uk, you can see what they've got, and you can see if it's any relevance to you. I said this before, and I'll say it again, mentioning websites. I haven't bought from every website here. I bought from some of them, often not a lot of them, so I cannot attest to the reliability of the website, and in some cases I cannot attest to the reliability or quality of the product. I haven't had my hands on every product, so always do your research, always look and see what other people have reviewed these things on, and yeah, just make sure you're happy before you buy them. Don't go and buy things or spend money just because I said something's cool, because whilst it may well be cool, I cannot guarantee that if you send 30, 40, 100 quid to a company, they're going to send you the product you like back. Always do your own research, guys. As many of you may be aware, April Fool's was earlier in the week, and it brought out something really funny, which I really, really enjoyed reading, and frankly, I'm totally going to use next time I play an RPG game. The Muppet Born. The Muppet Born are a new race for 5th Ed rather. Now, they are obviously an April Fool's joke. They're obviously just a bit of fun, but frankly, they're quite a potent and quite a nasty race that I'd quite like to actually play in a D&D game. Obviously, not in a serious D&D game. Anything involving adult themes and serious themes, not really the game for that. But there's a lot of the time you can get yourself a nice, short, simple, maybe 5 or 6 session mini shot game where, frankly, yes, they're a joke race, but I really think they've got a lot of play in them, actually. As is often the case with Wizards of the Coast, they really put a good amount of work and a lot of thought into this, and these guys have some awesome little powers and awesome little things that would actually work. They're actually quite a well thought out and quite a potent race. As ridiculous as they are, I really want to play one. They're really funny. What else have we got? We have got, bear with me a sec. I'm just going to pause it while I look because something's taking a while to load up. Yep, sorry about that. Just a bit of a load up there. Didn't want to have you guys wait. Blood Bowl player. Yeah, because some more exciting news from for Blood Bowl players out there. Grebo Games are doing another Kickstarter for this time for an Amazon team. They've really put a lot of effort into trying to get these guys looking good, and frankly, I think they've really succeeded. They've got, I don't want to say thick because that has connotations nowadays that I don't mean, but they've got women here that really look like if they hit you, you go down. They look like athletes. They look like sports people. There's a certain level of scantily cladness in them. However, they have Grebo Games have pointed out that many of their male models are also scantily clad, so they feel that's okay. It's, it's up to you guys to judge. Personally, I think the models look good. The models look like they're actually Blood Bowl players, and it's another awesome team. And frankly, there are a lot of teams that either GW haven't got out, or in some cases they're never going to get out. Amazon's may or may not be on GW's release schedule. It might be something that they'll do in the future. It might be something they never touch. With Amazon's, we really don't know. So it's always, frankly, really good to see some of the third-party guys bringing out miniatures that we can use in the game. I mean, I at the moment I've only used GW models. Literally just went out and bought myself a dwarf team. Looking forward to having a lot of fun with that. If you're interested, I've done an unboxing which will be somewhere on the channel. So go check that one out. But yet another alternative. I will say Grebo Games, along with a lot of the other smaller manufacturers, are quite expensive. Most of their teams retailing for a full team about £85. It's worth noting that usually comes with whatever big guy or extra bits and pieces go with that team. But that's still £85. You can get most teams and their big guys for maybe £35 to £40, depending on how much you want to spend from GW. Their numbers are cheap. The main teams tend to be about £19, £20. Well, tend to be about £20 odd, and then for about £12 to £14, depending on where you shop, you can get the Blood Bowl ogres, which are or trolls or the relevant big guys to that team. Some of the teams cost a little bit more. For example, the goblins and the dwarfs, their special players are primarily available from Forge World, so you are looking at paying Forge World prices for that, and you can get them cheaper from third-party miniatures if you look around. But again, a lot of it comes down to what your budget is and what you can manage. One last thing, not a massive thing, but you may have noticed I've looked at and shown some miniatures from a company called Futsal Miniatures or Warbanner. Apparently they've gotten into a little bit of a discussion with GW, and GW have decided, or GW's legal department decided, that Warbanner sounds a little too similar to Warhammer, and so they've requested they change their names. Whether or not this is heavy-handed, I'll leave that to you guys to decide. But if you're a fan of Warbanner or have been looking for it, they're now going to be called Dark Peak Games. I don't think there was really much chance confusion. Warbanner / Dark Peaks really focused on historical models, ancient world models and things like that. They've got a Roman skirmish game called Bread and Circuses. They've got a couple of other games that are very, very similar in sort of thing. You've got you've got Warring Clans, which is a historical Japanese game. You've got, where are we? You've got Mortal Gods, which is an ancient Greek game. A little bit more of a fantasy element in there. There's a lot of Greek games with fantasy elements in that have been in and about. So I don't know if this one's any better or any worse. They're 28mm miniatures for the most part, so they don't really transfer across to the GW 32mm ethos. But whatever reason, GW have asked them to change their name. From what I understand, they are a relatively new company. They evolved from other companies. Hence, you've got the Warbanner / Futsal Miniatures thing. The guys who've been making that have been around a while, and the quality of their work is good. It's not the best, it's not the worst, but that's what you expect from an up-and-coming company. They're not going to be as good as GW are. They've not got the money. Yeah, they haven't got the money to be as good as GW are. That's why they're cutting edge. That's why they're the top. But yeah, they're a reasonable company. So if you were looking for them and can't find them, they've moved over to being called Dark Peak Games. I believe their website is going to be in the same place. But yeah, that's something that happened this week, worth noting. Right, that's it for this week. Not as big as some weeks, not as small as others. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you next time. Okay, bye. Hi guys, hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter. Not sure why, but I am. So if you like it, see me there, and please tell your friends. Thanks very much. Bye.